Yeah.
We will call this the Stan RTA meeting for Thursday, August 15th to order. Roll call, please.
Chair Carr,
Here.
Vice Chair Wright.
Here.
Director Condit. Director Morrow.
Here.
Director Ritchie. Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Withrow. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we will open it up for public comment. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Since the board cannot take any action not on the agenda unless that action is authorized by section 54954.2 of the government code. Matters of urgency may be resolved more expeditiously by turning in the request to our clerk. We have anybody from the public that would like to speak at this time? Yes, Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Ron McMurtry here. Just some, the items today are more like kind of long-term things that I feel like we should start brainstorming. One issue that I've heard about and I actually witnessed today was some of the newest wheelchair, the scooter types are really wide and have a really hard time getting on the fixed route buses. So I don't know how we strategize for that. And God only knows what designs we're going to have in the future. So I feel like agency staff need to brainstorm. Should we have these people just strictly do ADA transit, or are there newer models of buses going to be able to accommodate wider, I don't know. So we have to think like, how are we going to accommodate these folks so they still can get public transit? The other one's a touchy subject and I feel a little bit of a jerk to bring it up, but there's going to be a clash at some point. This is a while ago, but the hygiene of some of the riders is of course very poor. And in some cases, the odor is really bad. And one time it was really literally urine. It was disgusting. And that time I called customer service and said, well, we can't refuse service. And I understand that. But we're also going to have a problem if we want to encourage so-called middle-class people to start using public transit locally. There's going to be an issue. People are not going to want to take the bus if, that's going to be an issue. I don't think it's a problem probably on the commuters so much, but on the local routes. And I had an idea that I think was floated by the Commission on Aging is something needs to be coordinated with the municipalities and the county to maybe have shower and laundry services for homeless people or anyone who needs it, so that people should get service and it'd be nice. And then it doesn't have to offend everybody else taking the bus. And I don't feel like a jerk bringing it up, but I'm just, this is the elephant in the room. And, we need to maybe brainstorm and like, how can we deal with this long-term? And there's coordination with the municipalities, obviously, especially City of Modesto. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have anybody else from the public that would like to speak at this time?
Good afternoon, everyone. One thing I've noticed is the amount of rides that paratransit has had. It's starting to affect the rides that I've been taking. Yesterday I got picked up at 8 o'clock. I didn't get dropped off until 9:30. I know I can be on the bus up to 2 hours, but there was only 3 people and it took almost an hour and a half. And they made the bus driver go from Houston to Ceres back to Houston to pick up another person, and then back then to Modesto. So I think the scheduling of the rides should have been scheduled a lot better. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else in the public that would like to speak at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll bring it back. Going into presentations. Our first one is special recognition for a driver, and we're going to start with a very brief video at this time, and then we will make the presentation. So please enjoy the video.
On June 1st, 2024, operator Angelita Mitchell, with just a year of experience, faced a challenging situation when her bus, carrying 10 passengers, became trapped on the 580 due to the corral fire. As the fire spread and traffic backed up, Angelita remained calm and focused. She immediately alerted StanRTA's control center, ensuring a quick response. She then communicated with her passengers, explaining that she would try to maneuver the bus away from the approaching danger. However, the bus became stuck in the median during this attempt. While waiting for assistance, Angelita kept a close watch on the situation. As the fire drew nearer, she directed her passengers to leave their belongings and exit the bus. Angelita made sure everyone exited safely and moved away from the flames. Thanks to her actions, all passengers were safe without injury. Angelita's conduct in this situation highlights the training and preparedness of our contractor's staff. We proudly recognize operator Angelita Mitchell for her quick thinking and dedication to passenger safety. Her actions set a strong example of the high standards we strive for in our service.
Thank you very much. StanRTA owes a deep debt of gratitude to Ms. Angelita Mitchell for her outstanding conduct. Video truly speaks for itself. Ms. Mitchell, we kindly ask you to join us so we can recognize you for your bravery, dedication to service, and unwavering commitment to the community you serve. Please come forward.
No glare.
Okay. Next up, we have India Harper. It is with great pleasure that we recognize India Harper as our Employee of the Month for July 2024. India is a road supervisor and has been with us for 19 months. India joined the transit industry seeking a new challenge, and her rapid career progression from driver to supervisor in just 5 months is a testament to her dedication and leadership qualities. Her proudest achievement is earning the supervisor role, where her calm demeanor and commitment to have ensuring efficiency and effectiveness. She is focused on giving bus operators the support they need to shine, and it shows. India has a significantly contributed to streamlining driver operations, creating a positive work environment. While she hasn't received formal awards, the numerous compliments and positive feedback she's garnered speak of her exceptional service. Please join us in congratulating India Harper on well-deserved recognition.
Thank you.
Oh, they get a little buzz?
Yeah.
Is that what that?
That's neat.
And next up, Dolores Mitchell. I said that right. Dolores Michael. We are pleased to recognize Dolores as our Employee of the Month for August 2024. As a customer service representative for 38 years dedicated service, he has been a pillar of our transit family. Inspired by her father, a trailways driver, and a close friend in the industry, he started as a bus driver for TSI. Over the years, she has held numerous roles, including classroom instructor, EMV examiner, safety manager, general manager, road supervisor, and customer service manager. One of her proudest achievements is mastering paratransit scheduling, a skill that has significantly enhanced our operation. He has also contributed to several startup projects like the CARE program and has been recognized for her safe driving, excellent attendance, and teamwork. He has served Stanislaus County Transit ridership for over a decade. Many customers single her out for her kindness and for going above and beyond as a customer service representative. In challenging situations, the professionalism shines through. Her honest, accurate communication ensures positive experiences for everyone she interacts with.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
I can read.
Okay, moving on. Going on to consent calendar, are there any items that anybody would like to pull from the consent calendar? Oh, I'm sorry.
More presentations.
There was a word. Okay, you're up.
Okay, I'm up. Very good. This next item is for the Stan RTA Employees Service Awards. We haven't done this before, but this was something I wanted to start, and wanted to go back in time since the Stan RTA was created to recognize 5, 10, 15-year service awards for Stan RTA staff. And you might think, Adam, the Stan RTA has only been around for 3 years. How are you doing a 5-year service award? Well, the Stan RTA staff that came over from Modesto and from the county retained their years of service. And so we wanted to recognize them for all the years of service that they have been with either Modesto or the county and the Stan RTA. So we'll start with the 5-year service awards, and we'll do this a little different. I'll just have them stand and say hi. They don't need to say anything or picture anything. We'll have them say hi. They were recognized when they actually met their 5-year award or 15-year award. So starting off with Darrow N. We're going to start off with all of our 5-year awards first. So Darrow N., if you want to stand. He is in charge of procurements and grants for the Stan RTA and has been with Modesto, came from Modesto and then to the Stan RTA. So Darrow, congratulations on 5 years. Girl. Angela Swanson would stand as well. She's with 2023. She's in charge of capital projects, ADA, Title VI, and basically anything else that we throw at her, she'll do it for us. And so that's great. Thank you, Angela. Next, Roland Fecto. I thought I saw him. There he is. Very good. Roland, 5 years, and he's in charge of maintenance and facilities oversight. So that's great. Thank you. Thank you, Roland. Next, 5 years, Sherry Benora, and I saw her sitting right next to Roland there. Sherry is one of our part-time employees, actually reached 5 years in 2021, right after the Standard RTA was formed, in charge of fair media, finance, marketing, things as well. So definitely thank you, Sherry, for all of your work. That's all of our 5-year awards. Then moving on to 10-year awards, Darlene Moen, I didn't see her.
Here.
So she's in charge of HR and risk management, came to us from the county side. So I'm just celebrated that 10-year mark just last month. Next, we'll move into our 15-year awards. So Nicole Hensley is here. I saw her at the very end. Nicole, if you would stand up. With Modesto and the Stan RTA, and serves now as our financial analyst. She does a great job there. Thank you, Nicole. And then Lucian Musso, is he here? No, Lucian. Okay, well, Lucian also celebrated 15 years in 2022, and he's the guy that's in charge of all of our bus stop improvements. And lastly, I would want to recognize these last two, even though they hit their 15-year mark and 25-year mark before the Standard RTA was created, but I think they met that mark right before the Standard RTA was created, and I wanted to recognize them anyway. So Megan DeStasso, she is another one of our part-time employees. She's in charge of the rideshare the rideshare program. She hit 15 years just before the Standard RTA was created. And then Letty Ortiz, and she's here. She hit 25 years just before the Standard RTA was created. He serves as a director of finance and administration, but obviously most of those years were spent with the county in several different roles. So definitely, that's it. Thank you to all the Standard RTA staff for all the work that you guys do, and especially those that meet their service awards this year. Thank you.
Very much. Marketing activities overview.
So marketing activities, April Henderson Potter is here, and she's going to provide a presentation on the marketing activities of the Standard RTA. This is more of an informational item for you to see what we do on the marketing side. Yeah.
Thank you, Adam. And as that presentation gets pulled up, I just wanted to say congratulations, Angelita and Dee. I've had the pleasure also of working alongside India, and she is an absolute joy. So congratulations to you all. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly, Chair Carr and Board, we're going to go over the marketing activities of Stan RTA. I'll hopefully make this quick and answer any questions you might have. Next slide. This is a basic agenda overview. Next slide. There we go. So we do use a mix of different marketing channels, various activities in order to deliver our message. And of course, our goal is to always increase our ridership, improve customer service, and always trying to enhance public perception of this system itself. Next slide. Our target passengers, next slide, or the typical personas that we tend to aim for are youth ages 0 to 18 who ride for free, MJC students as well, seniors ages 65 and over, veterans and active military who also ride free on our system, persons with disabilities or households that do not have a vehicle available to them, parents with children, and of course, just general public as well. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, and our budget consists of about $250,000 is what we have allocated. This is generally broken down. About 80% of that goes to marketing services, which we'll get into exactly what those are, and then 20% approximately to promotional items. Next slide. So the breakdown of this last year, this is an approximate of traditional marketing. We spent about 100,000, digital and social media marketing, about 30,000. Web and SEO, which is search engine optimization, 4,500. Video and photography, we did about 15,000, a little over. Radio and podcast, we allocated 25,000. Community involvement and sponsorships, another 25,000. We're definitely proud to support our community however we can. And then promotional items, we allocated about 50,000. Next slide. Next slide. So for traditional marketing, this is, again, about 100,000. We do marketing collateral, and this, of course, includes our route brochures, system maps, informational trifolds, kind of all the more papery things that you'll find, our fair media, flyers, newsletters, things like that. Promotional items, these are the fun swag giveaways. So, for example, those buses, they're very nice buses, but they are going to be very infrequently given out because they were a little more cost prohibitive. So we do give out other things like hats and sunglasses, fun things. At all the back to school giveaways, we've been giving out colored pencils and notebooks, which have been a real big hit. We do things like screen cleaners, flashlights to help passengers be seen, things like that. And then for print advertisement, which we all know is kind of has made its way a little bit out of the forefront, we still do allocate some of our funds to that. So we did about $10,000 for the Modesto View, City of Modesto Parks and Recreation activity guides, high school yearbooks, and then in local newspapers like the Houston Chronicle, Latino Times, Modesto Bee, the Oakdale Leader, Patterson Irrigator, Turlock Journal. So places where people are still picking those newspapers up physically, and those tend to be in the smaller areas. Next slide. In our digital and social marketing, we have Google AdWords. So this, for example, when you type into Google bus system in Stanislaus County, we would hopefully pop up towards the top of that, or at the top of that, really. We do geofencing, meaning we target specific audience types on things like Facebook or other different social media platforms. We have these banners, for example, that will sit at the top or on the sides of pages. Social media banners, so those are those ads that pop up as you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, things like that. And then this digital billboard was for a campaign we did recently, congratulating Darlene, who did 40 years of service. And so we actually did a digital display billboard off of Kansas and 99 for her, recognizing for her years of service. So we utilize those when appropriate as well. Next slide. Here are some social media post examples. So we're trying to stay on topic. So we'll do trending and funny meme posts, informational posts. Next slide. As well as giveaways, contests, behind the scenes, kind of getting to know us, getting to know our drivers, Throwback Thursday posts, things like that. Next slide. And then we do videos and reels as well. And actually, if you can play the middle one, this, for example, was an event that I did with the amazing TransDev staff. And so this one happened to get a lot of engagement, and it was a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll get this is at MJC for an event. So trying to keep it fun and engaging. Next slide. Yeah, there's more videos, but for sake of time, I'll go. So we've allocated approximately, in the past, at least the last quarter, was about $3,300 per month overall. That went $2,000 specifically to the Google AdWords, and we got about 166,000 impressions with geofencing, which is pretty good. And then Facebook and Instagram banners did about 22,000. Next slide. Our web and SEO, again, that search engine optimization. This is what our website currently looks like. Next slide. And we pay approximately $4,500 a year to keep that renewed. We are looking at revamping the look and the overall feel and ease of use of the site. That is still to come. Next slide. Video and photography. Next slide. So these are targeted videos, subject specific. We have historically been able to use a local business vendor, but if we go for over $10,000 right there, we got to go out to bid. We use these in theaters for pre-movie advertising, digital ads, online social media advertising as well. If you can play that one.
Bonnie and her friends are about to embark on an adventure around Stanislaus County. Their possibilities are endless.
The mall!
The park, the movies. Race you there.
3, 2, 1, go! The S provides 28 routes to 15 different cities. Youth 18 and under ride the S services free all day, every day. Start your own adventure on the S. Visit www.stanrta.org to learn more.
Thank you. Next slide. So we've created that one as more of a general, and then we also have specific for our Book the S app, rules of the S, how to book purchase passes on ADA, and then also how to bring your bike on the bus. So there are videos dedicated to those items as well. Next slide. And our budget, again, we try to keep that under 10,000 per project. Next slide. Radio and podcast. Again, this was historically, and we're going to be going out probably for a request for quote, but currently or previously we've been working with Cumulus radio station doing Cat Country 103, K-Hop 95.1, K-Win, running spots multiple times a day, multiple times a week on our local stations. Next slide. And then at National Transit Employee Appreciation Day back in March, we actually held a pop-up event where we invited them to come out and set up a couple different booths for Cat Country and K-Win, and it was very popular. I think the TransDev staff really enjoyed this, so it was a lot of fun. Next slide. Had local DJs and games and things, and if you can play, maybe just the left one is fine. We spent
Appreciation Day today, and to celebrate, DJ Walker hanging out in Modesto. What's going on?
We are in downtown Modesto. Yeah, we're going to be out here until 1 o'clock. And the Transit Employee Appreciation Day with Stan RTA is going on. A big thank you to the S drivers, the mechanics, customer service representatives, the dispatchers, and thank you to Stanislaus County Moving.
Appreciation Day today,
and next slide. So just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what that was like. Again, we allocated $5,200 that day, and that it was, I think, well spent. But approximately on average per month, we do about $2,500 towards radio. And again, we are currently creating a new scope of work for them. Ongoing. Adam was recently featured on Transit Unplugged podcast. And then I am pursuing the Vibin with West Modesto podcast and looking at any other options that we have to get out there in the community. So if you are aware of any, please let me know. Next slide. Community involvement, next slide. So these are kind of the more high-level things. We do a lot of stuff, but we're proud to say we were the 2023 and also this year Modesto Nuts presenting sponsor. And that has been a lot of fun. We actually have been able to throw out a first pitch and had some good employee and TransDev time there. We attend MJC student days, such as welcome back days, bienvenidas, things like that. We do provide at the Healthy Aging Summit sponsorship, the Trail Summit, Earth Day. We just partnered this year with the Modesto Children's Museum for their Bike and Trike first event, so that was fun. We work with Safe Kids Coalition. Megan is highly involved in that. And then we attend things like the Patterson Apricot Fiesta and other local events as well. Next slide. Again, based on last year, we spent approximately $25,000, and we really like staying in our community and being centered. Next slide. So we're really excited to announce that we will be actually the Downtown Modesto Domo Wall's first presenting sponsor this year. So we're very excited about that. And then we will be pursuing a video series. We're kind of calling My Ride right now. And these will be actual human interest rider stories based on our actual passengers. And I'm really excited about that personally. It's going to be more of a authentic, kind of more gritty feel. And we're really excited about that. So I think that is it. Are there any questions?
Any questions from policy board? Hearing none? Okay.
So can we go back to the digital ad spend slide? When you say Google AdWords, you're talking about search. Is that right?
Yeah, that the 2,000 was allocated specifically to the search terms.
They're spending $2,000 a month on search.
For this specific campaign, yes. And then we're looking at that again for this next phase of time to see, based on the data and analytics that we got in, if we should do more, how those are working.
Can you give me any insights in terms of like impressions for your search and CTR?
Yeah, so our click-through rate, it was actually, I want to say about 10%.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it was actually surprisingly more than I thought it was going to be. And then
It's actually
again,
really, really good.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice working with them. They were really great to work with as well. But again, we want to make sure that those data and analytics look really good if we want to justify continue spending it. But so again, for this specific 3-month campaign, the geofencing in particular had about 166,000, and then the impressions from Facebook and Instagram specifically was about 22,000.
Right. Do you know what the CPM you're paying is on the geofence ads?
Yeah, I have that information. I don't know what that is right this second, but I can definitely get that.
I'd be interested in knowing
Yeah.
that. And on the Facebook, well,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think overall, the ad mix is, I think, leaning way too far in the current marketing environment towards traditional media.
Okay.
And you need to lean it more towards digital.
Yeah.
Facebook is the new Modesto B in this town.
Yes, sir.
So investing in like full page ads, or I don't know what kind of ads you're doing in print, but print is dying. And investing any money in print right now, I think, is a mistake. Especially when where the people are is, social media. I'd rather see our social media advertising in the 100 to 200,000 impression territory a month at least, maybe even higher if you can. But not knowing the CPMs, I can't tell you if we're getting overcharged or undercharged.
Gotcha.
Chris, this is like Latin, what you're talking to. Keep going. I know you know.
Greek.
It's your wheelhouse. Keep going.
Let's see. So yeah, I guess, talking about your traditional marketing and all that stuff, I think that you'd benefit from looking over the whole budget from a perspective of how we market today more. And I think for a government organization, and I think I've told Adam this before, but like your organic social media is one of the best government run organic social medias I've ever seen. I'm super impressed.
Thank you.
And you guys are heading in the right direction, right? But what I want you to do now is grab the rest of that budget and bring it along with you to the future. Because one of the problems with government budgets is that once it's in the budget, and it's hard to change it. And I want you to feel fearless about changing it to the stuff that's working.
Thank you.
Right? You're getting like this great CTR on your Google search, like reward that format for giving you results. When we see ads that aren't getting results, they should be pulled, and you should feel empowered to do that. I want you to feel empowered to do that, because when you're taking risks, like with your social media, you're seeing great results, right? And so that's what we want, is like, at least me, and I'm, probably not your traditional politician type person, but I'd say like, I'd encourage you to take some risks and try to get, because like you see the ridership and how much it's improved in increasing. And I think it's definitely it's a result of not only the regionalization, but getting the word out about the regional.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
I have a question. So on your giveaways, you have your hats and stuff. Do you ever give away little like $5 bus passes?
We've done like monthly passes or 7-day passes, 1 day, those kinds of things. And we were actually just talking about doing a campaign because we would really like to move towards using TikTok more as well. So maybe posting almost like a scavenger hunt around the county where you're hiding bus passes somewhere and then giving clues about where it is so that someone can go out and find it, right? Take a ride on the bus to go find it wherever it lies or something like that. So
I think it'd be, especially for people that haven't rode the bus. They had a pass, even a 1-week pass or whatever. I think it might really encourage them to get on the bus.
great. Yeah, thank you. Like
More so than a hat.
yeah, okay, like a tri-transit.
everybody probably has tons of hats, so
Thank you.
anyway.
I had one other thing. You talk about getting on other people's podcasts. I think there also could be some upside in creating your own podcast. It's almost like creating your own little television show or whatever, and then you market that, you can get the word out. And it ties in with like what you're talking about with TikTok, you know. TikTok's about telling stories, it's about sharing experiences. So it's like, this is what it's like to ride the bus to school. This is what it's like to play Pokemon Go while
Right.
riding the bus. Like all those things the kids are into, like these are things that you
That's a great.
do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're going to be pursuing another kind of campaign, hopefully launching our TikTok as well, working with local leaders, doing interviews on the bus and things like that as well. So more to come.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the way that I want you to think about it is that rather than buying into other people's media,
Yeah.
this is 2024, right? Rather than buying into other people's media, we have an opportunity to own our own media,
Absolutely.
our own newspaper, our own radio station, our own channels, right? Like your social media, every social media page is like a different channel,
Right.
you know, and you can own that and you can distribute that. And when you do it effectively, yeah, it costs money in labor, but you don't have to spend money in ads.
Very true.
And I'll just add, we have our welcome day coming up at MJC on the 29th, so looking forward to the table. They always have great marketing materials. We can get a new video with the new Dan.
Fantastic. Yep, we are scheduled to be there.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Thank you very much. That was an awesome presentation, a lot of good information, and thank you again. Okay, now we're moving on to consent calendar. Do we have any items on the consent calendar that would like to be pulled? I am going to pull 7C. Okay. Any others? If not, I will accept a motion to accept consent calendar items 7A, 7B, and 7D as is. Motion to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, hearing none, it passes. My question on 7C, and it's just for informational purposes or just a concern that I have. Looking at the expense chart on the second page, I notice our fuel costs are going to go up by almost 144%. Just want to find out or get clarification that that is truly a accurate cost going up that high, and if it's all for fuel, or is that also taken into account charging for electric buses and so on?
Okay, sure. I could take that. I know Letty is here as well, and if he has any other follow-up on financials. So the fuel costs are accurate. That first year, that was our first year of operation. It was a kind of an odd year where we weren't paying directly, I guess, for all the fuel costs in a certain sense. So our dial-a-ride contract at the time, those fuel costs were embedded into their hourly rate, so they weren't captured in the fuel cost line. Also, the cost per gallon from that year in January 2021 versus today was there's a huge difference there. So that's one thing, almost $1 that difference in the cost of per gallon of fuel. And then the big difference from 2021 to today is we added almost 70,000 hours of revenue service, which means more buses on the road, both on the ADA paratransit side and on the fixed route side. We have much more service on the road today than we did back when we first started. So all those factors really increased the amount of fuel that we're using, increased the labor costs and everything else along with it.
All right, thank you very much. The clarification I wanted, because that number seemed a little large going forward, so I wanted to make sure it was accurate. Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. About those fuel costs, does that also take into account any future planning for the hydrogen fleet?
This year would not, so the 2024-25 fiscal year that we just started, it does not include hydrogen fuel costs yet. We aren't anticipated to see those buses until early 2026. So it'd be next fiscal year. And when we budget for next year, that will be a line item that we'll be budgeting.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments on consent item 7C? Hearing none, I will move that we approve consent item 7C as is.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Discussion item. Okay, 8A. Approve appointments to the Art of Transit Committee. Miss April.
Yes, thank you. I will try to make this brief. As our presentation gets pulled up, I will just go through a quick introduction of the Art and Transit Committee, or the Art and Transit Program, what it was created for. And then we have a slate of applicants that we'd like to submit to the board today for hopefully adoption and approval. So very excited about this program. Again, thank you. Huge thank you to Chris for all your hard work on this as well. And just the idea and the concept of this. So back in on March 28th at that board meeting, the Art and Transit program was actually adopted by the board, if you recall. And at that, we were authorized for the creation of the Art and Transit Committee itself. I'm sorry, next slide, or 2 slides, I guess. One more. There we go. And so right after that was approved, I did start creating the application. Application did go out, and we sent this out to board members. We also put it out on social media, on our Facebook, on website, all that stuff to gain public interest as well. Again, a huge thank you, Dr. Wilson and Chris, both who were highly instrumental in this. We did get 10 applications overall, which they were really high quality. So even though there may not have been tons, they were really high quality applicants. So very excited about that. After receiving those applications, I went through and then worked with Simon on creating the most qualified that we found. And so the selection was made to present to you guys today, and hopefully we will propose this and hopefully it will be adopted. Next slide. And next slide. So the committee recommendations are that these will be made of 5 community members. These would be local artists, Stanislaus Arts Council, excuse me, DOMO, so the Downtown Modesto Partnership. And then that would also consist of our bus stop and shelter planner, our bus stop maintenance, because they are highly instrumental, especially at our bus stops. So if we're going to put up artwork there, we want them to have some input as well. And then that will include myself, or the head of marketing and engagement. We're going to anticipate meeting once a quarter, and then that committee will make the project recommendations to you, the board, for final approval. Next slide. Next slide. So here are the 5 proposed committee members that we'd like to submit to you today. So the first is Mark Kinley, the gallery owner, visual artist at 1111 Media and Art Studio, and the founding director of the Modesto Conservatory of Music, Art, and Theater. Stephanie Foster, who is currently the director of district identity at DOMO, and she's on the board of the Stanislaus Arts Council. She will actually be moving on soon to a really great role for her as well. Elizabeth Buenrostro, I say this wrong every time, sorry, district program manager at the Downtown Modesto Partnership, and she's a recipient of a Bachelor of Arts from the Art Institute of California, San Francisco. Joseph James Zimmerer, he's a mosaic tile setter and muralist who serves on the leadership team for the Modesto Arts Movement. And then Crystal Dawn Lissick, who is the gallery coordinator at the Stanislaus Arts Council. And I have it here, let me see the bottom of that. And she's a painter, photographer, and a poet. So those are the 5 most qualified that we found, and we're very excited to present those to you today. Next slide. So our recommendation, next slide, is that the board adopt the slate of committee applicants presented, and when those are approved, we'll move on to making sure that they accept, and then we'll get our first meeting on the books. Next slide. And that's it. Any questions?
Any questions from the board members? Questions or comments? Okay, at this time, I will open it up for public comment. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak? Ron?
Sorry, this doesn't quite have any, Ron McMurtry again, not about your guys' decision today, but I noticed these were all kind of, well, your descriptions of these people sounded like they're pretty institutional. I actually have had a lot of talented students that I've tutored through the years that are quite talented artists. Have you put together a program to approach like high schools? Because I'm sure some of these art teachers would, these are very talented students, and this would be a nice kind of outreach to young people.
So with this committee, I believe that might be a direction we move in, maybe the committee itself. There were, some of these were also actual transit riders. So while their resumes are not only impressive, they actually utilize the system as well. So those were kind of the things we factored in as well. So that was really great. But we will keep that in mind. I know we're working with Dr. Wilson and hopefully have some NJC students in their arts group as well going to be involved.
Very good. Any other comments or questions from the public that would like to address this issue? Hearing none, I will bring it back. I will accept a motion to approve the appointments of the Art in Transit Committee.
Move to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Item 8B, Annual Audit Financial Report Fiscal Year ending June 30th, 2023. Ms. Lita.
We actually have Mr. Eric Zing from Brown Armstrong, who is our external auditor, and he will actually be presenting, he will actually be speaking on the audit, any findings or lack of findings, and answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, this is Eric Shin. I'm the audit engagement partner for STAN RTA's 2023 audit. It's my pleasure to present the audit results here. First of all, I would like to take this chance to thank Letty and Nicole for their hard work and support. Please allow me to briefly explain our audit scope and the audit process here. We performed an audit of STAN RTA's financial balances as well as internal controls over financial reporting and the compliance for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023. We also performed an audit of STAN RTA's compliance over the major federal programs for the fiscal year 2023. In addition, we performed agreed upon procedures testing for STAN RTA's NTD reporting requirements. Our scope of procedures includes inquiry, confirmation, verification, substantive testing, and analytic procedures. The following areas are the most significant audit areas we focused on during our audit this year: cash and investments, receivable, revenue, and deferred revenue, capital assets, accounts payable, accrued liabilities, and expenditures, lease and subscription-based IT arrangements or SPIDA liabilities. Also, we looked into STAN RTA's budget compliance, and we also tested some areas relating to fraud risk areas such as travel expenses, credit card items, and fictitious vendors, etc. Our audit testing resulted in no audit findings that we required to report to the board this year. The corrective action plan for the last year's audit finding relating to capital assets was resolved or implemented. As a result of the audit, we issued the following audit reports. Independent auditors report over the financial statements itself. We issued our report with an unmodified opinion or clean opinion. Report on internal control over financial reporting and compliance and other matters, which also resulted in an unmodified opinion with no findings on internal control over financial reporting. Last, we issued a report on compliance for each major program and on internal controls over compliance required by the uniform guidance. Again, we issued an unmodified opinion with no findings on internal controls over compliance. Finally, I have some required audit communication with the governing board. During the fiscal year 2023, STAN RTA adopted Governmental Accounting Standard Board Statements number 96, subscription-based IT arrangements for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2023. Accounting estimates of the discount rate for the purpose of calculating the right-to-use assets and the related liabilities for leases and speeders are based on STAN RTA's estimated borrowing rate. We evaluated the key factors and assumptions used to develop these estimates and determined that they are reasonable in relation to the overall financial statements. The financial statements disclosures are neutral, consistent, and clear. We did not propose any material audit adjustments during our audit. However, we did have a past audit adjustments which relates to STAN RTA's compensated absence liabilities. We did not have any disagreement with management during our audit. STAN RTA did not consult with other accountants about auditing and accounting matters during our audit process. Our discussions with management during the audit process and our responses were not conditions for our retention. And we encountered no significant audit difficulties during our audit. And finally, we did not detect any fraud or abuse issues relating to STAN RTA's employees or management. This concludes my presentation. I'm now open to any questions you may have.
Thank you very much for the presentation. That was very good. Do we have any questions or comments from the policy board members? Hearing none. At this time, I will open it up for public comment. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak on this item? Hearing none, I will bring this back. At this point, I will make a motion that we accept the annual audit financial report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023.
It's so much more exciting, this report, than the marketing report. I want to make sure.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you again for the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, informational items. I'll let the board members review those at their leisure. Moving on to CEO report.
Great, thank you. I just want to thank you to Letty and Nicole for the great work on the audit. So thank you for the great work there. It's great to see. Also, the one thing I'm going to talk about today is the FTA triennial review. I'm trying to get this PowerPoint up. Just give me a moment. And then, so the FTA triennial review is something that we go through every 3 years since the triennial, and it is this year. We submit a lot of information to the FTA for them to review, and they'll be actually on site next week. One of the reasons why we had to move the board meeting to today. They'll be on site to review our operation. So it happens every 3 years, and this is STAN RTA's first. Want to say a big thank you to Darrow. Is Darrow still here? Yeah, Darrow way down there end is the coordinator of everything with the triennial review. So he's done a great job. So thank you, sir, for everything there. And then to the entire staff that has provided all the documents, data to submit. Even as recently as last week, the FTA, the person doing the review came back and asked for a lot more information, and we've had a week to get it going and to prepare for this meeting as well. So thanks to everybody for your awesome work to make that happen, and looking great so far. And not just to staff, but to our contractors too. So legal and IT and TransDev and Modesto Maintenance all have a part in this review. So it's been great to have such a great team making this happen for us. one of the first things that we do with the training review is an entrance conference, and this is the PowerPoint that I'll be presenting next week. I won't go through the entire thing. I'm sure it'll take an hour. No, I'm kidding. It's not going to take an hour, but I just want to go through just a few slides that I wanted to point out. This is the entire presentation. I didn't pull anything out, so I'm just going to flip through it real quick to our ridership. Ridership for the last fiscal year was awesome. So looking at the black line and then the yellow line for ridership on fixed route, it has improved dramatically over time. Even when you look back with the max and start numbers from 2019 before COVID to the numbers that we see today are just are not necessarily off the charts because they're on the chart, but they are much higher than what we've seen in the past. And it's been great to see such great ridership on the system. And it goes to show for everything that we've done to improve the system and to provide easy connections for folks throughout the county. And so another big thank you to staff and to the contractors to make all this happen. Without everybody, obviously this wouldn't be possible. So it's definitely a very big team effort. So this is fixed route, and then the other one is demand response. So similar high, you look at the black line and the gold line there on top. Those are the most recent numbers. The 2019 is the blue line, which is the next one below that. So you can see that even on our 80 paratransit system, people are continuing to use that system, and it's been great to see so much usage of the bus. And that's great. Just gonna flip through them a little bit more. So this is a slide I talk about past projects and accomplishments, and I won't go through each of those, but just want to show this is a picture of the yard right after the consolidation happened and everything moved into the yard. So you see the old Max buses there, the old Start buses there, even the old Escalon buses there, and then a few spotted in there, the new Stanislaus buses. And now everything has been converted over. Come on. There we go. So there's just a picture of the yard that got just the other night with everything rebranded. So it's been great to see. And that's where we are today. So we've done so much work in the last 3 years. It's been awesome to see so many more people on the buses, the fleet rebranded, and we're just off to the races and doing great things here in the county. So that is the end of my presentation. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the CEO? Very nice. Director's reports. Do we have anybody that would like to speak at this time? Go ahead, Dave.
Ron, to your question on showers, the Access Center downtown does have showers available for homeless people every day, 24/7. So not 24/7, 7 days a week from 7 to 9.
Thank you. Any other? Okay. At this time, I had the honor of attending the transit conference over in San Jose, along with Miss Valerie. We took the divide and conquer approach. She went to the administrative and I stayed in the board members' presentations. And I gotta say, I didn't know what to expect in the beginning. But when I got there and found out there was representation from all across the nation, it was a pretty good conference. But that being said, the information I got out of that, I was very proud of this organization, our transit organization. Going back to the one slide where our ridership continues to show an incline, more and more riders. There are cities all throughout the US, much larger than Modesto, that their ridership is declining at a very severe rate. And it just shocked me that we're doing this and they're doing that. It made me very, very proud to just be part of this organization. Our paratransit is by far heads above everybody else in the nation. Our ridership, even in those numbers, just much, much greater than any place else. So a lot of the other cities, they're not focusing on electric buses. They're not focusing on hydrogen buses, but they're trying to focus on rail. And in my opinion, right now, that's much more costly than the going green buses where we're directing our staff to go to. So It was very inspirational. I was very honored to be there. Like I said, since I was in one session and our representative for the administrative was in the other session, I'm going to let her give a brief overview as to what she came out with.
Thank you. So this was my first APTA Transit Board Administrator Conference. I have been to an APTA conference before, but this was my first that was for the board members and clerk of the board. So the special thing about this conference in particular is it focuses on the board administrator roles, my role, and then the board member roles for you guys yourselves. I was lucky enough to have Mayor Carr there with me as well, helping represent Stan RTA. In my networking sessions, I made a lot of really good contacts, some of which I've actually already been able to utilize. So those networking sessions are very beneficial. We did a lot of group activities, like communication styles, changing words like yes and instead of yes, but yes, and just to inclusive and kind of add to a conversation ideas. Lots of exercises like that. Some of the things I learned was a lot of the other clerks were involved in the onboarding process, which is something Adam currently does. But after talking with Adam and letting him know this is something that I'd like to be involved in, he's going to include me going forward and teach me the ropes. We also did a poll on like the different minute styles that the clerks, how they transcribe. There's like action minutes, transcribe minutes, summarize minutes. The majority of the administrators are practicing the action minutes. We currently do summarized minutes, and they highly suggest steering away from any transcribed or summarized minutes and doing more action minutes. I know the city of Modesto currently does that, and so if it's okay with the board, if we would like to move towards doing action minutes, if we don't like it, we can go back to our old ways. But that is something that I would like to put into effect going forward. That kind of sums it up in a nutshell. I mean, of course, we did tons of exercises, communication exercises, and lots of networking, but it was a pleasure to be there, and I definitely recommend these sorts to our board. I think Mayor Carr is going to be joining us again for another conference coming up here soon. So highly encouraged for these board administrator, board member focused conferences.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And I want to say a little jealous of Miss Valerie being in the other session because she got to forego all the dad jokes that we were presented with in the board members' presentations by the presenter, and everybody by the end of the day was just going, please no. But it was a good conference, and I was very proud, very honored to be there. So thank you very much. At this time, we are going to adjourn into closed session.
Are you going back? I'm sorry.
No,
You gotta come around?
the email.
So right now, the radio.
It happened over the weekend, but we're working with the Avail team to get it fixed, but. So probably.
Josh, good job.
Do you want to give me a pat on the back?
Like,
report.
Thank you. The Board of Directors were in closed session. All of the directors were present with the exception of Director Ricky, who did need to excuse himself in the middle of closed session. The remaining directors, Director Wright, Director Carr, Director Morrow, and Director Withrow were present for the duration of the closed session, and there is no reportable action.
Thank you very much. I will accept the motion for adjourn.
To adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We're adjourned. Monica, or Valerie, catch. Thanks, Adam.
That piece of.
Uh,
What did you want? Oh, the